It's almost been 7 days since Devas of Creation came out to the public for free. And if I'm being quite honest, Devas is one of the most well-made games that's come out on the platform, well, since Deepwoken. Unlike the games that have come out in 2024 and the majority of 2023 releases as well, Devas of Creations has actually come out with almost what seems like complete game, or at least a game that was ready to release with a good amount of content, because as you guys do know, on this platform games come out prematurely or with barely enough content to sustain a player base for a day. And that's where I honestly think Devas took the thumbs up. They actually came out with a good amount of content and with a what seems complete game for the public to play. And Devas does things right. Devas actually plays like an MMORPG, literally, and I love that about it. However, there are a lot of things I don't like about it, and actually many other players don't either. So today we're actually going to be going through the things that we dislike about Devas. This is basically an honest review of Devas of Creations after 7 days of playing it. Let's get straight into this video. Now this game has an extreme paywall. In fact, let's call it paying for convenience. Yes, Devas of Creation is a free-to-play game, and the developers actually need to monetize their game in some way, shape or form, which I fully understand and fully support. I mean, look how much Robux I've spent on this game. However, there are certain paywalls that this game has that can actually be seen as predatory, if you ask me. The first one that strikes me as a bit odd is map pins. You actually need to pay about 300 to 400 Robux in order to get pins for locations on the map. Now, this is pretty bad because the map is already not as interactive as a lot of people would like it to be. But now, I also have to pay in order to put pins down on the map? That is pretty upsetting. Now, I have seen videos of people actually using map pins, and it kind of works as everything's already set, and these pins just show you locations of important places to farm, towns, etc. So you can just hover over it and it'll tell you the information you need to see. Now, since it's like this, it would be cool if there was a free-to-play option where players actually put pins on the map themselves and gave it like a little description so that they can remember what that pin was for. Seeing as the Game Pass version, everything's already set and laid out for you, the free version could be you have to do it yourself. Now, it would take the credibility out of the one you have to pay for, but again, people should only be paying Robux for the pins out of convenience, not because they're locked out of completely using the pins in the first place. The second thing on paying for convenience is really just paying for mounts and mount quests in general. Now, there are a lot of quests, or about 2 of quests in this game, that actually give you the chance of being able to obtain mounts. Whether they're flying or grounded mounts, after you complete those missions the first time, you actually get the chest. And in those chests, it spins. And if you don't land on what you want, you can actually click on the spin button again, unlimited time. So if you have a bunch of Robux, or you're just rich in general, you can actually keep spinning after doing the quest once until you finally land on something you want, which isn't exactly pay to win because these quests are repeatable, but you're definitely paying for the convenience of not having to spend up to 30 hours repeating this quest over and over again for a 1% chance drop. Speaking of these 1% chance drops, even after you RNG for this mob or mount, you then have to level it up, which is actually pretty annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is probably done so players spend more time actually grinding the game, which I understand, premium payout, but at the same time, it's a bit annoying. I don't like the fact that it steals a part of my EXP in order to level up. That's pretty annoying. That's actually very annoying. Now, having a battle pass isn't too bad, but at the same time, the battle pass feels kind of like a waste of money. There are some features on the battle pass that just don't kind of make sense. As in, why am I level 100 and I'm getting access to weapons and gear that I needed when I was level 50? That's pretty tough. And the last thing about paying for convenience, so this is just straight paying to win here, is not being able to buy traits without Robux. The only way to actually get traits in this game is to pay Robux. Outside of the free spins that you get at the start of the game, you actually have to pay Robux to obtain more spins. Which doesn't make sense to me because there are a lot of things that you can do in this game that are repeatable that gives you in-game items. Why is there nothing in the game that is free that gives you the opportunity to gain trait spin? I honestly think that needs to be included. Now, in terms of lack thereof, I've already mentioned the first point, not being able to get trait spins without Robux. There's no free way of obtaining them. But there's actually also another thing. There's no way of wiping your slots. Now, this actually just doesn't make much sense to me because I've never seen a video game ever where you can make multiple characters that you can't just straight out delete your already existing slot. Because this doesn't actually benefit the players, it benefits the developers. It means you're spending more time playing the game. So why isn't there a wipe slot option? There should 100% be a wipe slot option. Why is there not a wipe slot option? Now, I'm assuming the developers didn't add a wipe slot option because they wanted to get players to purchase more slots using Robux. And if that's the case, that's pretty silly. I'm not going to lie, I do think there should be a wipe slot option. There's literally no reason why there shouldn't be. Now, yes, the game is free to play and players can play on their alt accounts for free, but who wants to play games on their alt accounts? Not a lot of players do. So, please, let's add a wipe slot option. Another thing of lack thereof is also out of combat regen. The out of combat regen in this game is pretty atrocious, like very bad. But I do actually understand why. Towards your late game, there are actually gears, well, throughout the whole game, when you're crafting gear, there is a HP regeneration perk. And this HP regeneration perk, if you get it at a rare and above, is actually pretty good. So I'm assuming the reason why there's not out of combat regen, that of significance at least, is because they want players to try actually get good gear that have good perks on it. And if you have a good HP regen, mana regen or stamina regen perk, it's going to make a significant difference to your overall build. So there is a little bit of understanding why there isn't good out of combat regen. And my last lack thereof is honestly something that could have been overseen very easily. Why are pets not able to pick up your loot? If I kill a mob, granted, I do think this should only be for players that have purchased the auto pickup game pass. If you have the auto loot pickup game pass, pets should be able to walk over to the mob once killed and take the loot instantly. No, like there's no reason why pets aren't able to pick up loot for you. Why do I have this useless pet that steals EXP from me and it doesn't actually contribute anything to me? Pick up the loot, you silly little rodent. So please, devs, let's actually implement something like that. Main quest line. Now, this is honestly not really even that big of a deal, hence the dislike level only being 1. Now, it's not bad, I'll be so real. The game as a story guides you through the leveling experience on the most part, and the only thing I really hate about mainline story quest is the gathering quest. The gathering quests are all so annoying. In fact, I hate all life skill quests. I'ma be so real. After the initial leveling stages where they show you how to gather materials, chop down trees, fish, etc., I don't think we should have to do it again. You don't need to force me to gather. The players are gonna realize they need to gather things when they start noticing they need to craft different armors and weapons. They're gonna start gathering at their own accord. But I'm actually super grateful that there's only one fishing quest and you never have to do it again, because if there were multiple fishing quests, I'd have to quit the game, in all honesty. Oh, also, in quests that require you to kill a high amount of mobs in the area that have mob density that is super low. That's pretty annoying. Overall, Devas of Creation, genuinely a good game. It's honestly really addicting in my opinion, and I enjoy it. Now, there is also things I dislike in terms of the stats, the stat pages, and the lack thereof weapons, and the lack thereof weapon abilities, and then attribute point strength just dominates all, deck scaling is pretty low, and mage classes are strong and very weak at the same time. Yeah, that's quite a bit. But without going into detail about things everybody already sees and knows on surface level, Devas of Creation is a good game. Yes, the game does have a lack of endgame content too. Wow. But then again, whenever the game gets updated and we get the new weapons and the new desert biome and the PvP modes, I think the game will start to look a little bit more positive. I am looking forward to seeing what future updates for this game entail, level cap increases, new areas, progressing the story onwards, etc. Not too sure how they're gonna do that in terms of sustainability, because it does take a while to make an MMO, and then it's definitely gonna take a while to add more story related content for an MMORPG like game. It's not like playing a game like GPO or Bloxfruits. These things need to be put in detail. You need to have the storyline actually continue and for it to make sense, making mobs of the appropriate level, etc. So it is a lot harder. So updates may come at a slower rate, but still I'm excited for the future of this game. If we had to put Devas of Creations on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of the game's overall enjoyability, to me, I'll give the game about a 7 out of 10. There are a lot of features that kind of drag the points down, but overall this is an excellent game to play, especially if you have nothing to play, and especially if you're tired of the games on the Roblox platform. Devas is a breath of fresh air. But no, seriously, there's like no weapon abilities. I really do hate that. You're using the same weapon abilities from the start to the finish. That actually kind of sucks. But other than that, that's honestly it for me. If you made it to the end of the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Love and appreciate every single one of you guys. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow for the next video. Peace.